Hi everybody, it's the gregarious giggler here, and today I'm coming to talk to you about porn.
Okay, what is sex?
Welcome to my new home, everybody. Again. Perhaps it doesn't escape the attention of most people, or perhaps it has by many, that porn has become an epidemic in our culture, and not for the good. There are so many reasons for why porn is a problem, and I'm here to break it all down for you. First off, I want to make something very clear. I don't believe that porn is something that women are forced into. I think that if we live in a society where women have a right to choose their personal lifestyles and elect to live in the manner in which they see fit, elect to live in the manner which allows them to become women of erotic film art, then that is their choice. I may not agree with that choice, and I may not go down, no pun intended, that same career path, but I respect their right as individuals to choose the work they want to pursue. Having said that, porn is evil. Now, this may seem like a bit of an inconsistency on my part, right? I'm for women working in the porn industry, but I think porn is bad. Nope, not what I said at all. I don't respect women going into the porn industry. What I said was that I respect a woman's right to choose whatever line of work they want to go into, if it's legal. And since porn is legal, then I guess they have a right to go into that line of work. But again, porn is evil. It all looks so glamorous. So pleasurable.
Oh God. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh.
So erotic. So sexy.
Do you want to fuck me?
So dirty. By the time you're an adult, you've probably seen your fair share of porn, willingly or unwillingly, because porn is everywhere. It's in ads, it's all over the internet, it's in films, it's in magazines. Porn is everywhere. And porn has absolutely permeated our culture and lives. There's no escaping it. Now, I am strongly pro-sex and have nothing against the natural order of things. I am not a prude. If you've read my blogs, you'd know that. And I do think that flirtation and sex within a committed relationship, i.e., marriage, is absolutely essential, important, and healthy. I think that sex is a wonderful thing that God has gifted us, and we are very blessed to have it available. But porn is not sex, insofar as it's not healthy, important, natural, or within the context of a committed or important institution. Pornography, by definition, is meant to stimulate sexual excitement. Stimulate being the key word here. So, if you're stimulated, how are you supposed to release all that tension? Oh, I get it. Porn isn't sex. It's jerking off. That's not sex. That's jerking off. Sex instead, by definition, is engaging in sexual intercourse. That would require the presence of two people. At least, depending on how you roll. But let's start listing all the reasons for why porn is a problem in our society today. Number 1, porn stunts male maturity. It's all fine and well when you're a 40-year-old man standing alone in your garage, flipping through a Playboy, admiring young, beautiful women who will never admire you back. But it's quite another when you're a 12 or 13-year-old boy surfing the net and trying to learn about sexuality on your own, and you stumble across a menage a trois of Asian schoolgirls, I'm guessing. This is your first experience with porn. And not only do you assume that this is what sex looks like, but eventually when this boy does have sex for the first time, he may be left feeling disappointed that it wasn't as exciting as the naughty schoolgirls he saw online. His only recourse is to continue brushing the pony on his own at home because the schoolgirls are hot. Number 2, porn makes women think they have to be sluts. Seriously, ladies, let's not deny it. There's an element embedded in our culture now that women have to be a certain way in the bedroom. Even if the guy doesn't come right out and say it at first, women have the pressure placed upon them, whether they're willing or not, to act out sex scenes that boys and men have been programmed to think are normal sex acts. Some may be fun for both parties, while others may not be. But because the porn industry has done such a fine job in making men think that this is standard, instead of just simply outrageously abnormal and extreme, expect it now. I can't begin to tell you how many stories I've heard from women and things men have said to me as well that they'd like to do. It's unreal. And I would say in some cases, physically impossible. Wow, some of these porn stars must be acrobats too. Number 3, men think all women are sluts. So not only is it that women think they need to be sluts, but it's that men are under the misconception that pretty much all women are sluts.
I felt like a dirty girl.
What did you just call yourself?
I said dirty girl. You bad boy.
You dirty girl.
You bad boy.
Dirty girl.
Bad boy.
Dirty girl.
And in some cases, they're right. Because women have abandoned their traditional roles, waiting until marriage, holding virtue and chastity in high regard, and because they've become more liberal with their bodies and sex in general, it's really no surprise that men don't respect women as much, think of them primarily as sexual objects. In fact, I would go as far as to say that men treat women much more as sexual objects than they did 60 years ago, which is ironic since the feminists claim that it's just the opposite. But I'm going in a direction that I should save for another time. But women have, in a sense, thanks to the second wave feminists, become sluts. And that's also thanks to the porn industry. They kind of go hand in hand. Women are viewed on film as dirty little sluts. And then when feminists say, we're just like men, we can sleep with whomever and whenever we want, well, I think that pretty much sums it all up. Then the third wave feminists started the Me Too movement, and I laugh and laugh. Number 4, men don't know how to interact with women. This is more relevant to my blog series entitled Why You Don't Have a Girlfriend and Why as a Result I Don't Have a Boyfriend, which you can find at thegregoriousgiggler.blogspot.com. In my series, which chronicled me going out with 100 men in less than a year here in Italy, I talk about how the majority of the men that I spoke to online had no idea how to interact with women. How all they really wanted was and how a great many of them whom I eventually did go out with only wanted sex as well. I had men write me whom I'd never even said hello to yet, and they would request that I perform sexual acts on them, or ask me if I'd do this or that. I had one man ask me if I'd like to see him naked, and if that aroused me. I'm paraphrasing. I responded by saying that since he didn't even have a picture of his face on his profile, I was guessing he probably wasn't worth seeing naked. Oddly enough, I never heard back from him. The point here is that there's this idea that the only reason women are online to date, or the only reason why women would want to have sex, is because they're dirty little sluts. Because the porn industry, along with those lovely feminists, make it their mission to indoctrinate men from a young age into believing that all women love sex. They like it dirty, they like it rough, they yearn for it, and want to be treated like dirty little sluts. This being the case, men have no idea how to approach women anymore. If the porn industry is suggesting that this is what women are, and that this is the only use for women, then of course men who watch porn religiously are going to make it their sole objective to approach women for just that. Sex! So this is not to suggest that every single man on the face of the earth sees women as sluts, because I don't believe that. However, I do believe that a great number of men have become so obsessed with the idea of porn that a real woman just doesn't match up to the level of pleasure fantasy women offer, hold their interest. And that is why, number 5, men are disappointed and women are left feeling insecure. Once men realize that their fantasies can't be met, that their wives or girlfriends aren't as hot or skilled as Tracy Lords or Linda Lovelace, yes, I know I'm behind the times a little bit, but did you really want me to say Stormy Daniels? They become disillusioned with their marriages and relationships. They become complacent and frustrated, maybe even a little resentful of their partner. Why isn't she as curvaceous as that porn star? Why did that porn star let that guy do that to her, but my wife won't let me do that to her? In turn, women become insecure with themselves because their boyfriends and husbands aren't as satisfied. I believe women start looking inwardly at themselves, start questioning why they're unable to satisfy their man as much as they would have them do. Is it my fault that I don't want to do that sex act which I find repulsive and degrading? Is it my fault that I don't want to wear those kinds of things that my husband wants me to wear in the bedroom? Is it my fault that I don't want to do those things to my body that might make his fantasies more realistic? Now, I will say in defense of men that there are some women out there who really don't like sex and they need to get over themselves. Sex is fun and it's meant to be enjoyed by both people. If the man is being respectful and he's not asking her to do anything outrageously evil and bizarre, just being picky, then she really does need to get over it and learn to enjoy it as much as she can. Especially if she's married, because it's her obligation at that point to be a good partner. But porn still leaves women feeling a little bit insecure because, you know, when a guy is looking at her and not at his wife, she's gonna think that's what he actually wants, and no real woman could really compete with that. Because that is a fantasy. Although I think that some of us are better than the fantasy. Number 6, porn imprisons people's minds. Bet you can't eat just one is the motto here. Porn is really not about just watching it once, forgetting about it, and moving on. Porn becomes locked in your brain. It gets filed away, and it's there for you whenever you want to visit. You don't have to turn on your computer to watch it. It's right there in your memory bank. Otherwise colloquially known as the spank bank, or in Britain as the wank bank. Honestly, if you see it once, it's really hard to forget the stuff. And for men, I've actually heard stories where when they're having sex with women, they actually flash back in their minds to all the millions of girls they've tossed off to while they've been alone. This is not good for either party. First, it's reported that since man is being bombarded with all of these images of different women, he can't keep one straight. He loses all of his concentration in the moment, and secondly, as a result, he loses his erection. Oh, quiet. We're all adults here, I hope. This being the case, it's difficult for him to perform and leaves the woman feeling not only satisfied, but also, well, kinda in the dark. And if he has the nerve to tell her why he can't finish the task at hand, no pun intended, I'm sure she feels great about the fact that he's thinking about a million different women while he's inside of her. Suffice it to say, porn is like mold. It starts out slowly in your mind until it destroys every single particle in your brain, and you can never ever forget what you've seen. 7, porn can lead to not only carpal tunnel syndrome, but also...
He went to the doctor to find out what was wrong with him, and he was diagnosed. This is not a joke, seriously. TMS, the doctor said you have TMS. It's called traumatic masturbatory syndrome. He's actually reconditioned his penis to a certain type of stimulation. It won't respond to a real woman.
Porn is fun. I mean, I've seen porn. It's not exactly like watching an autopsy, although at the end of the day, they're pretty much the same thing. Death. But porn, in the moment, is exciting and a bit entertaining. I must admit that the few times I've ever seen it, I've paid most attention to the women, and not so much to the men. My boobs are bigger than hers. Wow, she has really long legs. Holy cow, she has a big mouth. The men are kind of like props in the whole thing, right? The women are very, very clearly the stars of the show. And there's a reason for that. The women are prettier to look at. Men are visual. We've discussed this before, and men like looking at women. But the problem with porn is that because it's so much fun, and it can be so addictive, especially for men, it leads to a lot of health problems, one of which was just mentioned. The fact that some men are now engaging in so much masturbation, thanks to pornography and the limitless amounts of it that we have available to us, it's creating a physiological chain reaction in their bodies. They're actually training their bodies to respond to their hands and revolt against vaginas. The fact that men are actually not wanting to have sex with women is probably the biggest prank the devil could have perpetuated on our society. The sad and or humorous irony in all of this is that porn is ostensibly meant to heighten the desire to fornicate with a sexual partner. And instead, men are retracting at the idea of being inside of a woman and would rather be stroked with Vaseline in a repetitious manner. The most shameful, humiliating, and unnatural act God has never intended us to do as human beings is exactly what we now as a culture are promoting, advocating, standing up for, and encouraging, when it's causing nothing but damage to our sex lives and our souls. Number 8, porn sets up unrealistic expectations. How unrealistic is porn? Oh my gosh, yes. Let's take an incredibly gorgeous woman who doesn't exist in real life, give her a man who looks just like he stepped out of Best Buy's Geek Squad, and give him an 8-foot-long penis, because that's really realistic too. Put them together, let them have sex for a whopping 45 minutes, and then after they've had this crazy and wild tryst, he's ready to go again in 30 seconds after 2 hot Brazilian cheerleaders come knocking on his door because they want to wash his car for a charity supporting Lipstick Lesbian Bisexuality Appreciation Week. Oh yeah, that's realistic. The fantasy world for men in porn is sort of like the fantasy world for women in Harlequin romance novels.
Her heart stood still as Derek swept her into his arms. His sinewy biceps rippled as he carried her up the stairs to a night of eternal ecstasy. Oh, please.
No, Fabio is not going to come sweep you off your feet with his chiseled abs and carry you off to a night of ecstasy on his white stallion.
I mean, he's not brainy in that doctor, lawyer, banker way, but he has something else. He has a
Sensual intelligence.
sensual intelligence.
Wow. Oh my God.
What is it with chicks and horses, huh?
Just like Fabiana does not exist, and she's not going to massage you topless as she starts making out with her female manicurist sitting next to her. The images that porn puts into men's minds is damaging, destructive, and hopeless. This is why men become disappointed with reality and seek to go back to the fantasy whenever they can. And when the fantasy is readily available, who, in all actuality, would want to go back to reality? Number 9, porn is a lie. Porn tells us that multiple sexual partners is a good thing. And so much fun! There's nothing like having promiscuous sex. You won't get any STDs. You'll never have an unwanted pregnancy because, after all, you can just kill the baby by having an abortion. Porn tells us that sex has nothing to do with love and that it's all about lust. Porn tells us that serving yourself is much more rewarding and satisfying than serving others. Porn is all about self-gratification, and in essence is the most selfish thing imaginable when it comes to sex. Sex, though, is designed to be enjoyed by two people at once, and each person feeds off the other for a simultaneous experience of joy and pleasure. Sex is meant to be making love. 10. Porn is someone else's fantasy. Have you ever stopped to think about the fact that you might actually be jacking off to someone else's fantasy? Think about that for a minute. You're not inside the mind of Candy, the hot French teacher who you're watching in the video. You're actually inside the mind of Frank, the sweaty, balding producer who wrote the script for that porno you're in the middle of viewing while you're touching yourself. Yeah. Kinda gross, actually. You're not slapping the salami alone. Frank is right there with you. Kinda gay. Just saying. Number 11. Porn, just like drugs, is a gateway to more hardcore stuff. Porn is not just a man and a woman doing it raw in the bedroom. It's turned into some of the nastiest, vilest, evil, raunchy, and abhorrent stuff. Stuff that honestly, I don't even probably know about and definitely don't want to know about. Ever heard of asphyxophilia?
Today, I decided to talk about getting choked during sex. I know many people who agree with me that getting choked in bed is fucking awesome.
It's when you strangle yourself or someone else during climax and reach a reported heightened state of orgasm like no other when you finally do arrive. However, this can lead to death. You may have heard about the actor from Kill Bill. He died from this. But that's men who like being strangled. What I'm talking about is men who strangle women. When I typed into Google search porn, why do men like strangling women? Here are just a few of the hits I got and their descriptions. Girl molested and strangled. 2 men carry a passed out woman to their cabin. They strip and rape her, but when she awakens, they strangle her and molest her some more. The second hit I got. Tied to a bed and strangle. Number 3, strangled videos. Pregnant belly bump exposed, submissive strangle. Coco gets hurt during Christmas. Wow, I never thought I'd long for the days of...
What does this mean, Debbie does Dallas? Debbie does Des Moines. Debbie does Dusseldorf. Oh, busy girl, that Debbie.
I also read a fantastic article by Brianni Smith from Flair, in which she investigated the new rage, which is choking in the bedroom. She spoke to several different people. What I found most interesting was not that both men and women equally get off on it, nor did I find it shocking that one-night stands, one after the other, strangle the girls in the middle of coitus without their permission. Because after all, where's the fun in that? No, what surprised me the most was a blasé statement that one man made while being interviewed. He said that talking dirty and pulling hair has become boring.
What's my name? Say my name, bitch!
Michelle.
This, above all else, should be an eye-opener into why raping, choking, gagging, spitting, why this orange is the new pink, and why people are seriously disturbed. Sodomy, S&M, and the uncertainty of whether or not snuff films actually do exist all alludes to the simple fact that porn is a lie, which has become actual truth. They say that art imitates life, but in this case I would say that life definitely imitates art. Number 12. If it weren't for porn, we wouldn't need parents explaining this.
So sometimes people will say, playing with himself or jerking off or choking the one-eyed trouser snake.
Today, we are going to be talking about masturbation.
Masturbation?
Masturbation.
Masturbation.
Is this really where we're at as a society? We need to have parents explaining masturbation to their kids? How about just figuring it out like a lot of people do naturally? Why is this a thing that parents have to explain? Isn't the sex conversation awkward enough with your kids? Oh, and I'm sure it helped Oodles that they were being filmed while their parents were explaining this to them. 13. Porn is a piss-poor substitute for the real thing. There is honestly nothing better than making love. While people may relish in living in a modern world where you can have casual, free, open sex with whomever and whenever you want, and do whatever you want to or with the other person, there is a deep and overwhelming amount of emptiness that is attached to what's waiting for you at the end of climax. Finally, 14. Men don't want relationships. If you look at all of what there is available to them, why would they want a real woman? Why would they want to get married? Why would they want to have a family? Why would they want to settle down? When they have Veronica, the little sex kitten, at their disposal and discretion whenever they want, why choose somebody normal? Somebody who might nag them. So yeah, I pretty much hate porn and what it's done for society in general. There are just some things you can't unsee. Thanks for watching, everybody. Did you like this video? Make sure to click like down below. Make sure to click subscribe on that big, fat, juicy red button that you see. Make sure to like, follow, and share my blog series, Why You Don't Have a Girlfriend and Why, as a Result, I Don't Have a Boyfriend, which you can find at thegregariousgiggler.blogspot.com. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day. Ciao!
Your penis is a weapon, just like your rifle. The military expects you to protect it and keep it dry. All right, men, if you'll open your manuals.